Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're examining, well, the architecture of organizations, how they're actually built to function, adapt, and hopefully innovate.
Hmm.
We often think of the traditional hierarchy, that pyramid shape, but we're going to explore some fundamentally different models shaping modern companies.
Right. And for you, maybe you're looking for a quick but thorough understanding. We've drawn from discussions that really challenge those older management ideas.
Okay.
The goal here is to give you a clear picture of how these newer structures foster agility, ingenuity, without, getting bogged down in excessive detail.
Great. So our deep dive today gets into flat, agile, and digitally transformed organizations.
And also that shift towards decentralized and, importantly, digital leadership.
Exactly. We want to understand precisely how these modern approaches help build resilience, spark creativity, and get employees more engaged.
Okay, so where do we start? That traditional hierarchy seems like the logical place.
Yeah, let's begin there. That classic structure.
The traditional hierarchy is defined by that clear chain of command, right? Top-down authority. Most people know this model.
Mhm.
But uh, the sources we looked at point out a big consequence: slower decision-making.
Right, because information has to climb the ladder.
Exactly. Info from the front lines has to go up,
Yeah.
potentially through multiple layers before any action happens. That can really hamstring an organization trying to react quickly.
It's like needing sign off after sign off just for an observation from someone actually doing the job. Very slow.
Yeah.
So what changes when we talk about flat organizational structures?
Well, flat structures basically try to tear down those layers. The main idea is to create an environment where anyone can share ideas, kind of on an equal footing.
More democratic, you mean?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And empowering people to act more autonomously. This flattening, it often leads to, well, significantly faster decisions and a more adaptable company overall.
Okay.
What's really interesting is how it can unlock creativity and initiative that might have been buried before.
Is there evidence for that?
There is. Some sources mentioned organizations successfully flattening structures, reporting, quite a big jump in employee-driven innovation. Sometimes like 40% in the first year.
Wow, 40%. That's pretty compelling.
It is.
And it makes a lot of sense, especially now with information being so accessible.
Precisely.
Mm.
I mean, in the digital age, information can flow everywhere instantly. Do you really need all those hierarchical gatekeepers anymore?
Probably not.
So flat structures let frontline employees feed directly into decisions, making the whole organization much more responsive to customers, to the market.
Like a customer service rep solving a problem right away using real-time data instead of escalating.
Exactly that kind of scenario. No need to wait for multiple manager approvals.
Okay, but if you take away the command and control structure, what kind of leadership works?
Yeah, that's crucial. The leadership style that really fits flat structures is often called servant leadership, or maybe coaching.
Servant leadership, how does that work?
Instead of just giving orders, leaders focus on supporting their teams, providing resources, guidance, basically enabling them to do their best work.
So less directing, more supporting.
Exactly. And this really helps build a strong sense of ownership and responsibility within the teams.
And that feeling of ownership, that seems key for motivation, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. When employees are actually involved in shaping things, the sources show a clear link to higher motivation, stronger commitment. This can mean people are less likely to leave, and the whole organization just runs more productively.
Okay, but getting rid of hierarchy can't be perfect. It sounds good, but what are the potential downsides? The challenges?
That's a really important point to consider. Without those clear lines of authority, roles can sometimes get a bit blurry.
I can see that. Who's responsible for what?
Right. And making sure there's clear accountability can be more complex.
Yeah.
Also, while getting everyone's input is good, if you involve everyone in every decision, well, discussions can drag on.
Yeah, decision by committee can be slow, too.
It can. So the question becomes, how do you manage those potential pitfalls effectively?
It sounds like you need crystal clear communication and really well-defined goals, maybe more so than in a hierarchy.
Exactly right. Having those big organizational goals that everyone understands, plus good communication tools, that's vital to keep things efficient.
So teams can connect, share info, make decisions together without getting stuck.
Precisely. Without getting bogged down in endless meetings or debates.
Okay, so that's flat structures. Now, moving beyond that, let's explore agile organizations. What's the core idea there?
Agile organizations, they sort of take the flexibility and speed from flat structures and, well, turn it up a notch.
Okay.
They tend to move away from those rigid departments and hierarchies. Instead, they favor project-based teams.
Teams that form for a specific purpose.
Yes, and these teams are empowered to drive both the decisions and the execution for their project. The main focus is just responding quickly and effectively to whatever the market needs.
So not permanent departments, but these dynamic teams tackling specific challenges.
Precisely. Each agile team usually zooms in on one project or one particular problem.
Right.
And what's really striking is the level of autonomy these teams typically get.
Okay.
This structure really encourages rapid problem solving. Innovation happens right there at the ground level where the work's actually getting done.
That makes sense.
Some studies suggest agile teams can hit project milestones, maybe 25% faster than traditional teams.
That kind of adaptability, that speed, it feels like a huge advantage in today's business world. So volatile.
It really is. Our sources definitely stress how effective agile setups are, especially when things are uncertain or changing fast. Their ability to just pivot quickly is a major strength.
You mentioned cross-functional teams as well. How do they fit into making organizations agile?
Oh, they're absolutely central. Agile really thrives when you bring people with different skills, different expertise together in one team.
Like a mini company focused on one thing.
Kind of, yeah. It allows for a more complete, holistic approach to solving problems. You get better solutions, more innovation.
And it breaks down those silos between departments.
Exactly, which improves communication and just makes the whole organization work more smoothly. Think of it like assembling a specialist task force for each mission.
Okay. And again, it seems like we're back to empower employees and a supportive leadership style. That theme keeps coming up.
You're spot on. Just like flat structures, agile environments really need employees to take initiative, make calls, without constantly seeking approval up the chain. And again, that servant leadership style, focusing on support, providing resources, it's ideal for making that independence and collaboration actually work.
It must be quite a shift, though, for big established companies used to the old ways. Adopting agile can't be easy.
It certainly can be a challenge.
Yeah.
The sources acknowledge that. Moving to agile can be tough, especially for people used to hierarchical cultures.
So what helps?
This is where really focused training and coaching become essential, helping teams understand the mindset, the practices, how to actually thrive in that new setup.
And it's not like you just flip a switch and you're agile, right? It needs constant adjustment.
Precisely. A core part of agile being successful is that continuous feedback loop. Constantly checking progress, learning from each cycle, and then feeding those lessons back into the next effort.
That learning and adapting piece is key.
It's really at the heart of the whole agile idea, ongoing adaptation.
It's interesting that you see agile moving beyond just tech startups now. Big corporations are adopting it.
Yes, the sources definitely highlight that trend. Even large established players are using agile principles, and they seem to be showing, greater resilience, staying more competitive because of it.
But surely there still needs to be some kind of overall direction, a guiding vision from the top.
Oh, absolutely. For agile to really work across an organization, you need a clear overarching vision, and you need supportive leadership at the top setting that direction.
So alignment from the top, autonomy for the teams.
Exactly. That provides the framework, the alignment, while still letting the teams operate with that crucial autonomy.
Okay, we've talked about flattening hierarchies, becoming more nimble with agile. Let's shift gears now to technology's role. Digital transformation. The sources mention centralizing this effort. Why centralize it?
Right. Centralizing digital transformation is often positioned as a key strategy, mainly for boosting efficiency and transparency.
Okay.
As technology advances so quickly, a centralized approach lets companies streamline things that might have been scattered or manual before.
Like bringing data together.
Yes. Usually involves things like adopting data-driven decision-making, automating workflows. The aim is to enable faster responses to market changes.
So a central tech hub driving things.
Kind of. Think about having a central data platform, like a single source of truth for different departments. That leads to more aligned, more efficient decisions across the board.
But it feels like it's more than just rolling out new software. It sounds like a deeper cultural shift.
Precisely. It absolutely impacts things beyond just the tech itself. Centralizing digital transformation reshapes the culture, the way people actually work.
Yes.
Well, think about using real-time analytics to make strategic calls, or optimizing how you use resources based on predictive models. These capabilities fundamentally change how a company operates and adapts day to day.
And what does this mean for employees' roles? Do jobs change?
They often do. Digital transformation frequently leads to rethinking roles. Automation might handle routine tasks.
Freeing people up for other things.
Exactly. Freeing up employees to focus on more creative work, higher value activities. This shift can actually boost job satisfaction, drive productivity, and encourage more innovation.
But like any major change initiative, you need strong leadership guiding it, right?
Absolutely critical. Our sources really stress the need for a clear vision and effective leadership to steer these digital transformation projects.
What does that leadership look like?
Leaders need to clearly communicate why these changes are important, make sure everyone gets the big picture, and, importantly, provide regular training and feedback to help everyone adapt smoothly to new tools and processes.
It probably costs a fair bit up front, I imagine.
There's usually an initial investment, yes, both time and resources, but the potential long-term payoff can be huge.
Like what?
Things like more efficient supply chains, better customer data management, which leads to happier customers, even creating totally new ways to make money. Those benefits can definitely outweigh the initial costs.
And ultimately, this also helps with being more adaptable, doesn't it? Especially globally.
Indeed. Digital transformation boosts that organizational agility we talked about. It helps businesses react better to market shifts, new tech, and using digital platforms makes global collaboration much easier, opening up more opportunities.
Okay, now let's shift focus again, this time to who's actually leading. The sources also talk about the decentralization of leadership. What does that look like in practice?
Decentralization of leadership, it's really a fundamental break from that traditional model where power is concentrated right at the top.
Okay.
Instead, it's about spreading leadership responsibilities throughout the organization, empowering teams, even individual employees, to take ownership and make decisions more independently.
So moving away from relying solely on the hierarchy.
Right. Less dependence on that formal chain of command.
So instead of waiting for orders from the top brass, decisions get made faster, closer to the action.
That's the core idea, yes.
Yeah.
Traditional centralized leadership can create bottlenecks, delays. Decentralized leadership allows for much quicker, on-the-ground responses.
Which boosts agility again.
Significantly. Enhances the organization's ability to react fast, which is just vital today.
And how does spreading leadership out like that affect the employees?
Well, it tends to foster a much greater sense of autonomy, of ownership. When you encourage people to take initiative, act independently, it naturally boosts their motivation, their engagement.
Because they feel like they have more say.
Exactly. And when employees feel empowered to contribute meaningfully, it helps build a culture that actually values their ideas. That, in turn, tends to spur more innovation.
But you can't just say, okay, everyone's a leader now, can you? You need some structure, some support.
You're absolutely right. You can't just declare it. For decentralized leadership to actually work, you need to actively develop leadership skills throughout the organization.
How do companies do that?
It means investing in things like training, mentoring programs, making sure people at all levels actually have the skills and confidence to take on leadership responsibilities effectively.
It builds capacity across the board.
Exactly. Creates a structure where leadership is widespread and actually works.
And it probably changes how people communicate, too.
Oh, significantly. Decentralized leadership usually leads to closer collaboration, more open sharing of information between different teams and departments.
More transparency.
Right. And that increased transparency can lead to better quality decisions because you're getting more diverse perspectives involved. Employees are also more likely to feel like their work aligns with the bigger picture.
Interestingly, the sources also mentioned risk management. How does decentralizing leadership affect that?
Yeah, that's a key point. By spreading out leadership, you reduce the organization's dependence on any single person at the top.
Makes sense. Less risk concentrated in one place.
Exactly. It enhances stability, resilience, plus it enables quicker responses to problems right where they pop up at the operational level, which can mitigate negative impacts faster.
But just like with the flat structures, there must be potential downsides here too. Challenges to watch out for.
Definitely. If you don't manage it carefully, spreading leadership out can sometimes lead to ambiguity. Who's responsible for what? Where does accountability lie?
Right, the potential for confusion.
To avoid that, the sources really emphasize having clear organizational goals, well-defined roles, making sure everyone knows how their piece fits into the overall strategy and governance.
So it's that balance again, empowerment, but within a clear framework.
Precisely. Decentralized leadership is a big shift, no doubt. But the potential upsides, flexibility, speed, autonomy, creativity, they can offer a real competitive edge, especially now.
Okay, finally, let's bring it all together and talk about the leaders themselves in this changing landscape. The sources point to the growing importance of digital leadership. What exactly is that?
Right. Digital leadership. It's more than just being tech savvy. It really covers both the technical know-how and the strategic ability needed to guide an organization through all this digital change.
Okay.
So a digital leader doesn't just use digital tools and data themselves, they also take charge of transforming the culture, the work processes, to really embrace the digital age.
So it's not just about implementing technology, it's about driving that deeper operational shift.
Exactly. For example, a digital leader knows how to use real-time analytics to make faster, better-informed decisions. That's becoming absolutely critical for staying competitive.
And it sounds like they have a big role in helping the workforce adapt, too.
Oh, absolutely. A key part of digital leadership is upskilling employees,
Mm.
training them on new tools, new processes.
Making sure people aren't left behind.
Right, which not only helps people adapt, but also boosts their engagement and the organization's overall productivity.
Collaboration keeps coming up. How does digital leadership help there?
Digital leaders are really key facilitators of collaboration, both internally, across different teams, and externally with partners.
Why is that so important now?
Well, digital transformation often requires that kind of cross-departmental work and external partnerships. Digital leaders are good at using digital platforms to bring diverse perspectives together and get everyone aligned on shared goals.
And given how fast technology changes, adaptability must be huge for these leaders.
Crucial. That adaptability is a defining trait of digital leadership. Tech evolves, markets shift constantly. Digital leaders need to be flexible, ready to adjust strategies on the fly.
More so than traditional leaders, perhaps.
Arguably, yes. That constant need to adapt really sets digital leadership apart.
So it demands a mindset of always learning, always evolving.
That's right. To really succeed as a digital leader, you have to cultivate that mindset of continuous learning. Staying on top of the latest trends, the newest tools, it's essential for guiding the organization effectively.
So ultimately, digital leadership is about connecting the dots between the big picture strategy and the potential of all these digital tools.
It's a great way to put it. It's realized when leaders effectively mesh the organization's vision and strategy with the smart application of digital tech.
Right.
That's what enables companies to navigate digital transformation successfully, stay competitive, and really thrive going forward.
Okay, we've definitely covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at moving from those rigid hierarchies to flatter, more agile ways of working.
And that shift from centralized command to more decentralized leadership models.
And underpinning so much of it, the crucial role of digital transformation and having leaders who are digitally savvy.
And the big why behind all these shifts, as we've touched on, is really about fostering more flexibility, more speed, more innovation.
And getting employees more engaged and empowered, moving beyond models that maybe feel a bit outdated now. So as you listening reflect on this, maybe think about how these ideas, flat structures, agile methods, decentralized leadership, digital transformation, how they might apply in your own world.
Yeah, which parts really resonated with you?
And what steps could you maybe take to explore these concepts more, perhaps to bring a bit more adaptability and innovation into your own work or organization? Something to think about.